Alright, so my name is Samuel. Um, you guys may know me as Orderfield by Sam on TikTok. If you are watching this is my first ever trade recap video that I'm doing with my face as well. And this is just like a quick back test that I did. I will go over it in a few minutes. Just want to introduce myself real quick. I am a college student, 20 years old currently. Recently just turned 20. I've been trading for about 9 months now, since March. Today is December 12th, 2025. Um, what I plan on doing is just making videos upon videos that I do trade recaps, whether it's a trade I took that day or like back test recaps, either one. And I'll just explain every way I possibly can how I took the trade. I'm not good at explaining things, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Um, I am a Christian. Yes, I believe in God. I do pray, and I my ultimate goal for trading is to just help out the family, create generational income, and just become a good person within me. Like trading is not just about the money; it's about like the experience, it's about the journey, and I feel like there's a future here for me. Like I've never been so dedicated in something than I am with trading, and I feel like it's been helping me a lot lately these past couple of months, and I have learned a lot about trading. I feel like my problems right now is my psychology and how I um, go about everything and how I execute my trades and how I enter my trades and whether I have enough conviction. Those are my problems right now. I pray that I will overcome them eventually. And with my plan of these videos, I want to like make them for myself and probably even post them on YouTube maybe one day. That will help somebody out there. You may be watching. Um, I'm not really posting on YouTube for the money. I'm just doing it honestly for myself and for anybody who might want it because I will be making money from trading. Um, I do have a funded account on Top Step. Let me just put that right now. Right now, on the funded, I am down, like really down in that matter. I'm $185 from losing this account because I went through a lot with like over trading throughout this week, and I was blaming it on the price action. I just kept losing and losing and losing consistently for the past week, and I was just over trading and over trading and over trading. It's just so embarrassing to look at, honestly. But I know me doing this is for a good thing. Let me show you the calendar right here. So this past month I am down 1,800, and I believe that I will still that is very much possible for me to still get a payout on this account. And the way I plan on doing so is to trade one micro on every account. Um, Actually, let me just write this down as I'm saying it. So basically, right from now on till I see the payout, I plan to trade one micro on MNQ. Yeah, do the same thing. Plan on take two trades max per day, risking $25 points per trade, and if I win a trade, I can take another but de-risk. Actually, no. If I win a trade, I'm just gonna take it. If I win a trade, I will take off for the day, and I will lock myself out immediately. I'll put some like trade. I'll put some like trading locks here to do like personal daily loss limit of like $50. I only have so much to work around. I don't have a profit target. Let me just save that. 2 trades a day. So previous day was limit action. I don't know what liquidate means. So I'm not gonna do anything that I don't know. Yeah. And I will only trade my model. Okay. Now let's go back to the back testing, which is here. Right. So earlier I took this little quick back test trade from Wednesday, the 10th. So like basically if I were to take a trade, this is how I would take it. Let me start all over. So basically, right, I went on the daily and I basically observed that we took out, actually let me go back. Alright, that's it. Yeah, so I observed that we took out this high like that, like buy side up there, or we needed to take out that buy side in that matter because there's a lot of some liquidity. Alright, and saw that we took out all this sell side liquidity right here. Alright, so like when I look for a trade, I always start on the daily time frame to look at where price wants to go. So if I see previous day low taken and then a bullish engulfing, I look for longs and like vice versa. Right, but overall, I still think we're bullish and that we need to take out this buy side liquidity and like continue higher. Like that. So we inverse that gap right there, inverse that gap right there, and I feel like we still can trade back into the gap to continue higher to like maintain balance in a way. But let's move on to the 4 hour. 4 hour, I usually look for like gaps after like putting out that I took out all the gaps and stuff. So saw that there was no gaps here, so you move to the 1 hour, right? And I see this internal buy side get taken, right? I saw all those highs get taken right after sell side got taken, right? Got taken by that engulfing candle in the 1 hour. And then you see how there was no gaps on the 1 hour, right? So except that one that got inverse as it took out the internal highs. So I then go on the 15-minute gap right there, and I see it's probably a little delayed. Let me go. Yeah, let's go back here, right? I saw that there was a gap here. Yeah, exactly. This 15-minute gap right here, right? I saw that we tapped into that gap, right? And I was like, okay, so it's probably ready to go up and take out these internal highs, right? And continue higher for this buy side up here, right? Which is about how many points away? 100 points away, right? So I see we tapped that 15-minute gap right there. Now what we want to do is look for an entry because now it's going higher, right? We go on the 5-minute. We see that there's some 5-minute gaps within that 15-minute that kind of like overlap it in a way. So we know that that was a point of draw at the point, but now we want to go higher. And now as we go higher, we tapped into this 5-minute bullish gap that's also inside this 5-minute inverse, right? Which basically like points our direction that we want to be looking for bullish, that we are want to be looking for longs, right? So I see that 5-minute gap right there, right? And I want to see my entry, my model retracement entry form there, right? Which basically looks like this. So it will come down, come tap it, you enter at that CE, and then it just booms, right? So I go into the 1 minute, I see it more clearly. Usually, since I don't have like a premium version, I can't go to like the 15-second or anything, but I get even tighter entries if I find my entry there. But I'm gonna have to use this 5-minute gap to enter off the 1 minute. So basically, I'd wait and see when the gap forms, when this price goes through the gap right there. So I'll just play it once I see that it tapped in, and it also made this 1-minute gap right here. So this could be a point of entry for bullish, right? But I would need more confirmation because it can easily just do something like this, and I don't want that, right? So I would like to see this gap get tapped into first for me to point that we're bullish, and then I would enter at this point, right? That would give me more confirmation that we're bullish, and everything could be respecting it, right? And we're also inside this bullish gap as well. So kind of all lines up at the end. So now I want to enter off that gap, so I would wait for price to come up, or come down, tap this 1-minute gap like it did, right? And then come up, tap the gap right there. I'll put like a 20, 25 point stop. So that will be my entry, right? Then I'll target that high, that short-term high, because I don't want to like overestimate myself. So we just simply set the trade, and we'll honestly just wait. Oh yeah. So Let's see what happened. I didn't get tapped in because, yeah. See, that's why. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's the trade that I took earlier, or would have taken. There was a void imbalance in there, and it didn't really tap the CE, but it did tap me in. But and you can see by, I wish I can find it, but yeah, that's typically my entry long. Now you see how we've taken those internal highs and completely rejected off of it, kind of like pointed us to go lower. So if I wanted to find like a short entry, which is kind of already too late, I'd go off this 1 minute gap, but we would have to look off the like the higher time frame to see if it like matches it in a way. Because we swept that high, right? Do we want us to see this goes lower or higher? I mean, we could go lower, but we need a gap to retrace to, and we don't see any gaps on the 50 minute. So let's see if we see some like a 5 minute before we go higher. Alright. Now the 5 minute is just that same gap that's right there. And I don't think we would really double tap that gap, but there is a 5 minute gap here that could be tapped into. So I would see would have draw to be like at that gap, right? So you just set your stop loss, 25 points, target like right here. You can have like TP1 on that, and if it goes lower, that'll be your TP2. So you just wait to get tapped in, and yeah. So let's see what happened here. So what had happened was we initially got tapped in, but we were wigged out because of our stop loss, and it unfortunately went our way. But let's find the reason why this happened. So on the 5 minute, doesn't look like we can really see, but if you want to really see it, we would have to see it on a smaller time frame, which is kind of unfortunate since I don't have premium. So let's just find this. This was at 1437 was there. So right here. Alright, so it's right here. So let's go on the 30-second. Should drew a line. So we took the entry right here and it traded back into that gap. Yeah, there it is. So there was like a 30-second gap that it kind of like wicked before going lower. And that could be like another point of my entry right there. but unfortunately we were using trading view and don't go as low as 30-second, and even on the 15-second there's probably like some big gap right there as well. Uh, right. Yep, exactly. So on the 15-second, there was a large void imbalance. This area that was just traded back into, and I didn't see it because the time frame wasn't low enough, and price just ran through my stop. So I guess next time, like I usually trade low, shorter stops around 25 points to like preserve capital. But I think next time I would have taken the trade on a smaller time frame and I got a, it would have gotten like a pretty sleek entry that I could have entered from. So because if I would have had like a 40, 60 point stop loss, it wouldn't be worth it. That'd be like a too risky of a trade for me to know that it would surely happen. So that's my reasoning behind that trade. So basic recap is that I start on the daily. I draw out any like points of liquidity. I wait for a sweep of that liquidity, whether it's sell side or buy side. Once it's sell side, you want to target the buy side, of course. So you scale lower to find more liquidity points, and you just see where price is at. And you scale lower to find, even lower to find gaps that could be traded back into or tapped into or inversed or anything of that sort, right? Then you go on the lower time frames to find your entries, right? Like I did here. I found my entry at this 5-minute gap, and on the lower time frame I would have hit that. That would be my entry right there in that gap, right there, somewhere like that. Right? That would have been a smooth trade, and you could also trade it the way down, targeting about 100 points. So let's say my model is pretty reliable because it always happens every day. We're always retracing back into a gap. We're always like targeting liquidity. So I feel like my model always targets liquidity, always trades back into a gap, and always uh, has speed and displacement. And one thing that I typically realize with my model is that like the lower the time frame you are, the faster the trade happens, and the higher the time frame you are, the longer the trade happens. So my model appears on every single time frame. I just have to like ask myself every time I trade, like, do I want to trade into? Do I want to take like an hour in a trade today, or do I want to take a couple of minutes in the trade, right? But the thing is, with the quick trades, you have to be quick to see what's gonna happen, right? Like there was a bunch of quick trades that I took that I like back tested earlier today on the 15-second, right? I just like observed what price was doing, like market close dumped like 600 points. That's crazy. And I feel like, yeah, we traded back into the gap, like I said. So I feel like we're gonna come back and like do something like this, it would just bounce right back up because I feel like we have no reason to go lower like we did in November because we already swept that low, and we already like tapped into some gaps right there and tapped back into that zone right there. So we just need to like continue bullish, honestly. And if we do go lower, obviously this will be point of draw for the rest of the year. Since it's the daily chart, anyways. Um, it is possible that next year we could be seeing like a going to monthly. We could be seeing like price come down to like here maybe. You see price come down there. It's very much possible. Right? Yeah, so it's gonna take a while, but whatever happens, happens. We're drifting right now, so let me just go back to the chart. So yeah, it's a pretty simple strategy. Um, I'm definitely getting better each and every day. I'll probably take one more. Let me just take one more back test just to like show it again if people don't really understand what I'm talking about because I don't really know how to like explain things well. Like I said, well yeah, news is definitely like a high factor. So I'm pretty sure whoever's watching this knows that. And yes, I do have ES on the side, and I don't really use it for this month because like December price action is kind of choppy, so I feel like relying on SMTs. I mean, it can be a good confidence, but like you can have an SMT on the highs or the lows, and it would just like ruin your bias and like make you think if you should even take the trade. So like my conviction goes down and disappears every time I see like a SMT on the high or low. Or if I'm in the trade and I see an SMT form like something like that, so I don't let that usually like distract me. Let me find another trade. Um, let's trade. Let's trade the first of December. All right, and I just did the November. So 1st of December. So we do the one before. Cool. All right. So 1st of December. All right. Come down. Tap into this gap. We're still within this daily gap. All right. We're obviously looking like we're about to push higher because we just tapped into the daily gap. Nice rejection off of the gap. Consolidating properly now. So go and push higher towards these highs. Right? So knowing that, I'll go down to the 4 hour. Right? Oh wait, no, I forgot the most important part. Yeah, I gotta mark out the liquidity points. So got our side up here, and we did sweep previous day high. So you can draw that out right. We swept previous day high. Did we take previous day low? Let's see. Yeah, we did. We took previous day low as well. Hmm. So looks like a market open that we just pushed up after sweeping previous day low as well. And versus 4 hour gap, tap back into it, just like my entry. My entry would be right there, targeting the high, whatever. Um, if we want to find like a trade now, card we target. So there is a 4-hour gap right here that we tapped into. So I can see us what's it called? Inversing that gap. We tapped into this 4-hour, so that's already done. So I'd like to see us take out this 4-hour gap right here. So I'll look for entry prior to that. We inverse this 1-hour bearish gap right here. We're trading back into it. Looks like it was probably news this day. That dumped the market 100 points, but fits the narrative of it inversing, trading back into and offering continuation back up. So I do want to trade that continuation. I see that there's a 1-hour gap within that hourly gap that we're in. So delete that so I can declutter myself. So I see this bullish engulfing, meaning that we're about to trade into this hourly gap right here. We go down to the 15 minutes to find entry. You see price consolidating the past minutes. We see another 15-minute gap that overlaps that 1-hour gap. So, I think I remember this day too. So, price is currently consolidating. I think I'd want to see like some lower high get taken out. I'm not sure what. So, I just wait for that. Let me just check the lower time frame to see anything more. Okay, so we did sweep those. Those were not the. Now I feel like we can target. Let's see if we go up to it. There we go. We do go up to it. Move. Right. So after we take out that low, we take out that high. Breaking us above. Now we want to see engulfing candles that would show our entry. I think it might come down and take out that low as well. Turn it back into it. Okay. So I say right now I'm pretty bullish. We just took out that high, took out that low. We created a 5-minute gap in here. Looks like we're about to get a retrace into that gap. So I put stop at that low, targeting the top of that fair value gap. Go to the 1 minute to ensure precision. It's a bunch of consolidation there. It could go the other way. We did reject off swooping that high pretty well, so that is something I have to keep in mind. I don't think I'll take that trade because it was kind of spiffy. Let's see what happens here. Yeah. So it's still consolidating. We needed to sweep high completely, or even take out this low down here. Alright, so it took out that high, then it traded into the 1 hour. Okay, so how does it look like on the 1 hour? Looks like we tapped it and then we checked off of it. Now, what am I expecting? I'm expecting price to come down to trade back into a gap, obviously. So we have this gap, this 5-minute gap right here, right? So I want to take shorts into that gap. But I feel, oh wait, no, it's too low RR. But it still would have been a good trade. Let's just see if it works. I want to take shorts into this 5-minute gap, and then probably longs off of it, bounce it off if we are bearish. So you'd simply draw that gap inside. It's kind of hard when it's nothing to go off of. Yes, I don't trust it. Alright, so as we continue, price consolidates, and it goes down, right? And it goes back up. Now this is looking pretty bearish, right? And I feel like this could be a Java query. I would try that. If we do get an inverse below here, we tapped into this gap perfectly. I think I even took this trade. Yeah. Yeah. Put this up at the high. Then I'll target all the way down there. Alright. So let's see if that works. Still consolidating. So it looks like price left. It's not coming back. So now it's at. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. So that's a perfect example of why you should stick to your trades, why you should have conviction, and why you should stick to your bias, right? I didn't take this trade because I felt like we were too low and that we couldn't retrace back up. We were so well right. We came down, swept these internal lows, double tapped this, or made equal lows here, and went back up, traded into that engulfing gap right there. I'm guessing that's a gap on the 5-minute as well, yeah. Then it finally went down all the way to that low, and yeah. So it's unfortunate, but we learn our mistake and we stick to our trade and we stick to our model. That's what I have to learn. That's what I am going to learn. And yep, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching till the end. If you did, I appreciate you. Um, yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one.